They told us that aging is a slow descent, a fading into the background of life, a surrender to time's unforgiving hand. But what if everything we've been taught about the elderly is wrong? What if the frail hands that tremble while reaching for a teacup once shaped galaxies and civilizations, not in fiction, but in truth that's simply been forgotten? Dolores Cannon, a trailblazing hypnotherapist who spent over 40 years delving into the deepest layers of human consciousness, dared to say what few would even whisper, that the elderly among us may not only be wise by experience but ancient by soul, volunteers of immense spiritual depth who came to earth to anchor light, and in their final years, carry the weight of human history in their bones. Through thousands of hypnosis sessions with people from every walk of life, Dolores uncovered a startling recurring pattern. Stories emerging from the subconscious that had no place in known history, voices that remembered lives as healers, watchers, creators, beings who existed in Lemuria, Atlantis, even beyond Earth entirely. Many of the people who revealed these truths were elderly, often nearing the end of their lives, dismissed by society as irrelevant, but in trance, they spoke with a clarity and cosmic memory that could chill the spine. She saw patterns, not chaos. She began to understand. These people weren't imagining these memories, they were remembering them. That 87-year-old woman who sits silently by the window, whom even her children overlook, may carry the blueprint of an ancient healing technology within her soul. That lonely man whose voice quivers when he speaks of love lost may have lived a dozen lifetimes as a teacher of divine law in star systems humanity has yet to name. But in this modern world, obsessed with youth, speed, and productivity, no one stops to ask the old ones what they remember. No one asks what they know. Dolores Cannon insisted that aging isn't just a biological decay, it's a spiritual compression, a soul becoming dense with the gravity of hundreds of lives, thousands of lessons, and a mission that still pulses beneath sagging skin and slowing speech. She found that many of the elderly who felt displaced in today's world were not broken. They were simply homesick for a place their conscious mind couldn't name but their soul still longed for. These were not just the forgotten, they were the remembering. In one of her most famous sessions, an 84-year-old woman named Clara, who had never left her small town or spoken of the metaphysical, revealed under deep trance that she had once been part of an ancient council that guided planetary transitions, including Earth's. Her voice shifted, her posture straightened, and she spoke of light grids, soul agreements, and how Earth was nearing a critical shift, one she had returned in this life to help usher in, simply by existing. Not marching, not preaching, just being. Dolores's work revealed that many elders, especially those who seem to sit quietly without fuss, are holding energetic space for the planet. Their bodies may weaken, but their soul frequency vibrates in harmony with Earth's most subtle fields. Some of them came into this life not to change the world loudly, but to stabilize it silently, absorbing chaotic energy, transmitting compassion, and offering grounding to the younger generations who are running, panicking, searching. And yet these elders suffer in silence. Not because of age, but because of invisibility. Our culture celebrates speed, but the soul's wisdom speaks slowly. Our world applauds beauty, but the soul's beauty is weathered, wrinkled, hard-won. Dolores believed this neglect of our elders isn't just societal ignorance, it's spiritual amnesia. We've forgotten who they really are. And when we forget the soul behind the age, we cut ourselves off from a vital stream of ancestral power. Have you ever looked into an old person's eyes and felt an ache, as if they were mourning something you couldn't name? That ache is the soul remembering a world before this one, a time when they were revered, when age meant authority, not isolation. It's the quiet grief of knowing too much in a world that values distraction. It's the heaviness of carrying sacred knowledge in a body that now struggles to carry itself. Dolores's sessions often revealed that many elderly souls are in their final incarnations. They've completed the karmic cycles, finished their lessons, and are here one last time. Some to resolve one final wound, others simply to be witnesses, silent anchors in a chaotic shift. She called them the watchers, the volunteers, the ancient ones. They don't brag. They don't always talk. But their very presence is a form of prayer. Every breath is an offering. Every wrinkle a scroll of spiritual data. And if we could only ask them the right questions. What do you feel when the wind blows? What dreams visit you at night? What do you miss that you've never known in this life? We might unlock stories that change how we understand time, soul, and human purpose. In many of Dolores's regressions, the elderly subjects spoke of loneliness not as a personal failure but a spiritual symptom. They feel unseen not because they're irrelevant, but because their vibration no longer matches a world caught in the shallow. They are tuned to deeper frequencies, waiting for someone, anyone, to meet them there. Dolores said, if you want to grow, talk to the old. If you want to evolve, sit at their feet. If you want to remember who you are, hold their hand. These are not metaphors. These are instructions. When you sit with the elderly and listen, not to the facts of their day but to the silence between their words, you enter a portal. You may not understand everything they say. Sometimes they don't either. But their soul is speaking and your soul will hear it. In one story, a 90-year-old man named Luis described under hypnosis how in a life before this one, he helped seed Earth with consciousness from the Pleiades. He was a musician in that life, and his melodies altered brainwaves. In this life, Luis was poor, mute, and forgotten. But Dolores knew the truth. His soul was singing still, just on a frequency this world forgot how to hear. She believed that the rising tide of dementia wasn't just a medical issue. It was, in some cases, a sign that the soul had already begun to return home, leaving behind a vessel too dense for its final form. And yet we sedate, isolate, and institutionalize these sacred ones, instead of honoring their departure, asking them what they see in those distant, confused gazes. Maybe they're not forgetting, maybe they're remembering something we've never known. And if this is true, if even 1% of Dolores's discoveries are accurate, then we are living among soul giants dressed in fragile robes, and we owe them not pity but reverence. Not silence but song. So what can you do? Start by noticing. Look again at the elders in your life. Really see them. Ask them about their childhood dreams. Ask them if they've ever felt they didn't belong. Ask them what they think happens after death. You'll be surprised what opens. Share their stories. Preserve their wisdom. Not on TikTok or YouTube for views, but in your heart, your home, your breath. And if you are someone in your 70s, 80s, or 90s watching this, know this: you are not done. You are never done. Even in your silence, you are serving. Even in your tiredness, you are transmitting. You may not have words for what you carry, but your soul speaks volumes with every step you still take.